Hey everyone, it is Evan here from the Trade Risk on Wednesday, November 20th. We are intraday right now, and this is our weekly trade ideas video where we bring you some of the names from our watch list, stocks that are holding up well, showing some relative strength, and ideally are not yet too extended in their moves. As always, these videos are powered by our partners over at Investors Business Daily. We're curating ideas from their stock lists. You can get access to their stock lists with a link in the description of this video. So we're finally getting a little bit of a pullback here in the market. If you followed the market recaps here, we've sort of been, welcoming this or keeping this as a certainly reasonable outlook here. I think if you're even a strong bull right now, you should welcome this type of pullback. It gives you some better opportunities, a little bit of a reset of froth in this market, but gives you some better prices in some of these names that are just going completely vertical. So let's cheer it on. Let's look for some trade entries here, and hopefully some of the setups we're going to talk about today are something that you're interested in. So let's kick it off here with a name from IBD's list, and it is INCY. Now, if we zoom out here, we just take a look at this particular name over the past year of trading. You can see it's been moving sideways in this range all year from about $73 to $89. And where it is right now, I think, is just the most interesting thing about this setup. I don't have a very strong opinion on the stock one way or the other. I just think it's set up at an interesting spot right here. It ran from the lower end of its range, retested those April lows. They held. We rallied all the way up here, and now we're challenging the year-to-date highs. So we basically had this monster start to 2019 where it ran 50% to the upside in just 2 months. It took the rest of the year to consolidate it, and now it looks like it's trying to finish the year strong and attempt to break out here. So if you are looking at this, if you're looking for that continuation, if you're looking or have any other insight catalyst behind the space or this name particular, I think it's something to look at here as it starts to potentially break out of this technical range. In the short term, if you're looking for some contrarian plays here, you can see the little bit of a fade going on here at resistance. If you're doubting this sector, the market around these levels, then you could certainly argue for some short-term kind of mean reversion down to the back into the fill in some of this range and move that it just covered, the ground that it just covered. So kind of a interesting look there. I think that, again, the most interesting thing is just where the stock is certainly positioned right now. Again, if it starts clearing above this $90 area, I would say, look out above, because it looks like it would want to turn into a bigger continuation pattern. So that's INCY. That's number one. Number two is BZUN. Now, we've talked about this in this consolidation zone. It's been a few weeks since we've mentioned it, but again, if we go to a weekly chart and we just take a look at the big picture here, this volatility compression that we've seen here since August is eventually going to give way. In other words, it is fueled up. Volatility compression leads to expansion, and we're kind of waiting for that catalyst. We're waiting for that expansion to actually kind of manifest and take action here. I think we'd have to look over $45, $46 to get that momentum, that breakout to the upside. Or if it starts to resolve lower, if it fails around here, it would be around that $40 area. If it breaks this support that has been in place since August, then maybe you have a catalyst and some momentum, energy getting expelled to the downside. So BZUN, kind of lower highs in place, flat support in place. Let's pay attention to it as it's tightened up and coiled up in this general area. Last but not least, from IBD's list is a gold stock. This is Kirkland Gold. This has had a monster year, and again, it does look like it's trying to finish the year strong. When we look here at just the big picture, this has been sleeping since August of this year. It got as high as almost $50. It started to move sideways. Speaking of tight and volatility compression, you can clearly see that here as all of the overlapping candles just going sideways here for the past 4 months. And when we look recently now, you can see this is the second leg trying to now, or second candle, second week, trying to break out of this downtrend line. If we go to a daily chart, You can see there's clearly some hesitation up here at these prior highs, but it is trying to break this downtrend line. It is trying to resume and start to move to the upside. MACD is racing higher in positive territory. So KL here, kind of the best, one of the best in class in this space. Let's pay attention to it here, especially if you do see more volatility in the equity markets. Now, if we look at two other names from our watch list, those three were from IBDs. Two from our watch list. One is PLAN. It's a name I'm not really familiar with, but it did hit the scan recently. It is a recent IPO, so if we zoom out here, you can see it did IPO back in late 2018. It's almost doubled since its IPO price, and it's had, just technically behaving pretty strongly here, good uptrend. But more recently, since August of this year, since July, August of this year, it's been consolidating sideways to lower, pulling back off of those highs. And what you have even more recently in this range here, it almost looks like some type of inverted head and shoulders bottom pattern that's potentially developing here. Kind of got your neckline up around $51 or so. If this can start to break out here, if this can start to take out, say, today's highs, you can see more volume coming in already. But if this can start to break up here and resolve these recent resistance. It does look like it wants to continue in its dominant uptrend here and start to continue and perhaps get back up to those prior highs. Got some nice defined risk here, good kind of accumulation pattern that's in place, so we'll see if it can turn into a breakout there for the bulls. Last but not least is a name that we do currently own right now, so we do have a position here in ticker symbol EXAS. We bought this about a week ago. We own it just under $81, so we do have a favorable entry from where it's trading right now. But the reason we bought it, the reason we like the stock is because of the pullback it had, retracing about 35% from its all-time highs made in September. More importantly, though, it's just the area it's coming back into. So you can see this was prior support here early in 2019, this $80 area. It was former resistance back in 2018, and it's now back to this spot. Got some good momentum divergence going on, and again, just nice reset of the recent rally that it had in the beginning of the year. So EXAS, we do own it. Wide stop here, so giving it some time, getting comfortable here, but we do believe it can get back up into the upper 90s, even 100 plus. If this area can hold in. So EXAS, that's the last name there. That comes from our watch list, and it is a position that we own. So that's it. That's what I got for the trade ideas of the week. A couple of different setups there, some different looks. So depending on what you're interested in, what kind of trader you are, hopefully you find something that interests you. Otherwise, check back next week. Every Wednesday we do videos just like this, so you can subscribe on our YouTube channel or follow us at The Trade Risk. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back on Friday for the weekend market recap. Don't miss it.